So this is a video that fits into the category of a headspace video. And I used to release a lot more of these. But I think it's probably a good sign that I haven't been releasing as many of them, because it's typically a video made on something that's bothering me or causing me some type of anxiety or just frustration or whatever the case may be. This is not necessarily that, but it is something that I'm thinking about at the moment that is, I don't know, just something that I have to consider and figure out how I want to approach it going forward. And what I'm talking about is batch work. So whether it be this army of Santas, all of the Cardinals, all of the snowmen over there, they're typically smaller items, more affordable items that I take orders on, and I make them in batches. Batch work. If you're a potter, this is probably something you're very familiar with, making batches of, say, mugs or whatever it is that you're making, or a wood turner, you're making batches of bowls, whatever it is, where you're making something and then you're making lots of similar items, right? As an artist, there's a part of me that doesn't enjoy it. Like, I don't enjoy making lots of anything. It's tedious work. You're sitting here, you're painting through all these Santas or Cardinals or whatever it is. As an artist, I honestly never want to make the same thing twice. I would rather just make something new every day and never repeat anything, and just that kind of be the focus of my business. That could probably work. Honestly, I could probably flip that switch tomorrow, follow that business model, and be fine. Because when I make anything new, it usually sells pretty quickly. The challenge is, as a small business owner, so if you pull back from the artist side of things, as a small business owner, it's all about being consistent, right? And being able to produce a consistent product and being able to find multiple buyers for said product. So it's a balancing act between doing what brings you joy from an artistic standpoint and what brings you dollars from a business standpoint. And again, I don't know what it is that's holding me back from just making that switch to where I just switch to making one-of-a-kind pieces and not repeating things and not doing any type of batch work. I don't know what it is that's holding me back from that. Maybe it's from where I started out this journey as a spoon carver, where you make batches of spoons, or where I was a wood turner and I would, do series of things. And now that I'm a chainsaw carver, I'm continuing that trend with batch work. I don't really know what the cause of it is or why I insist on doing it. It's a fairly good business model. You don't make anything until you have an order for it. So I take orders for things, and then I make X number of things for how many orders I have. And so you really never have a situation where you've got inventory sitting. But I could also say the same thing for anything that I make one-off or new. I never have enough inventory. It's always been it's a good problem to have. All of you amazing folks who are watching this, all of you folks who buy my work, thank you so much. It's not lost on me how lucky I am to have an amazing customer base who buys my work. But I've always had an inventory problem, not a sales problem. And so I don't really know if I have a solution to this or what I'm even really trying to say. Ultimately, what I'm getting at is that batch work doesn't bring me tons of joy, but it does keep the business afloat. And so it's like, do I continue that or do I pull back on that? I don't know. If you're an artist or a maker and you can relate to this subject, please let me know how you feel about it. Drop me a message or leave a comment. And I kind of think I know how. Sorry about that. My video literally stopped because I ran out of storage on my phone. I had to delete some stuff. I take lots of photos and lots of videos. I'm sure all of you have noticed that. But what I was in the process of saying is that I kind of know how customers feel about it, because there are folks who see something that I make and they miss the opportunity buy it, like if I post one of something, you know, and I had 10 people who wanted that thing, I know how folks who bought the second thing, the third thing, the fourth thing, the fifth thing feel. If I hadn't have done batch work, those folks would have missed out on being able to purchase a piece of my work. So it's this weird balancing act of where I create things that I can make in batches that everybody has an opportunity, if they want one, to order, and doing what I love, which is creating new stuff. Because right now I'm looking back, and like in the past 2 weeks, I have not created anything new. I've been doing batches of things. Like I guess you could say that I made a Santa in the past 2 weeks, but then I made like, you know, 36 Santas. So I don't know. I'm just letting you in to my brain a little bit, into my mind a little bit, about how I'm thinking about this and how I'm looking at moving the business forward, as to what does that look like? Am I still offering orders for batches of things, or am I creating new stuff? Honestly, probably the best answer is that I do a combination of the two, that I'm doing a little bit of batch work, and then I'm also creating new things and working on the bigger projects that I really enjoy working on. I am going to get a little bit of a break from batch work, because I have some amazing commissions to work on, where folks have reached out to me and they have projects in mind. And so I'm really excited. I've got about 4 or 5, probably more like 5 or 6 commissions right now that I need to tackle in the next month or so. And so those will be exciting. There'll be a nice break from batch work. And I think next year this will kind of take care of itself, because another reason why I do things in batches is because I'm preparing for markets, for shows. Next year I'm cutting way back on shows. I'm going to be doing more, just focusing on the online, the social media aspect of things, and selling things directly to folks through Facebook or social media such as Instagram and Facebook, and cutting way back on shows. That'll mean that I don't necessarily have to worry about making lots of smalls or things like that. I can just focus on making the stuff that I want to make, and hoping that there's a market for it, which up to this point there has been. So I think that's kind of the goal. Again, just kind of letting you in to my brain a little bit, letting you know what I'm thinking about at the moment. And it probably has something to do with the fact that I've been doing so much batch work lately and feeling a little overwhelmed, if I'm being completely honest. It's something when you have to sit down and make 30 of anything. It's a process, and doing the same thing for long periods of time isn't conducive to my artistic personality. And if I'm being completely truthful, if you followed me for a while, you probably realize that I'm not very good at sitting still, and that I always need to be busy. And if you've watched any of my videos on unfinished projects, you know that I get my enjoyment out of starting projects, not necessarily finishing them. So finishing, 30 of anything doesn't bring me tons of, accomplishment. I just want to make stuff, and I want to create new things. And so it's a fine line. Again, I'm not literally looking for an answer here. I think it's going to just end up being a balance between creating batches of things, because again, I know there's, you have multiple people who want to purchase something, which means you have to make multiples of something, and that's just part of it. I don't want this to come off as ungrateful. I'm by no means ungrateful. I'm beyond grateful. And, for having been an artist full-time for 5 years now, I know how incredibly blessed I am to have that opportunity. So I'm by no means am I complaining. I'm just thinking through how to do things going forward. So I know this is a long video. Again, I know there's folks who will watch this to the end. So if you're one of those folks, drop a comment. Let me know that you watched it all the way through. If you have any thoughts on this subject, if you're a maker or an artist, or even if you're a customer and you kind of have thoughts on, how do you feel about me making batches of things or just making something new every day? I'd love to know your thoughts. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.